Hi fellow reefers, this is Eddie of Eddie's Reef Aquarium. In today's video, I want to bring the topic of salinity and how it fluctuates, how it varies, either with your synthetic salt or the oceans of the world. First, let's start with the synthetic salts. As you must be aware, first what you have to do is go ahead and set up a container and fill it up with RODI water, and then you start to mix your synthetic salt. My target salt has always been 1.026. Now sometimes you might either put not enough salt, and then when you start to check with the hydrometer or refractometer, you're going to notice the salt level's a little low. So all you have to do simply is start to add slowly a little more salt and keep checking until you reach your targeted salinity level. Now the same thing holds true, but in the reverse, when it comes to when you're checking your salt and you notice, I put a little more salt, so I have to bring it down. Simply just add a little more RODI water, and that should solve the problem. And again, like I said before, always checking and checking, because you see what happens by experience is that once there is salt, there's a certain salinity level in your RODI. It doesn't take that much to actually bring the salinity level quite high. So like, for instance, the first time you check your salinity level, let's say that you're already at 1.018 or 1.020. Well, you really don't need to add that much amount of extra salt, because it'll really skyrocket it and you are going to pass your targeted salinity level. So once there is a certain amount of salt in your RODI, all you simply have to do is add just a little more, and you more or less reach that target level. Now, switching now to the oceans of the world. You might ask yourself, when you go into your computer and you do checks, you check out what's the salinity level, the average salinity level in the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific, Baltic Sea, Red Sea, Indian Ocean, and you go on, and you're going to notice, hey, wait a minute, how come the salinity level is different? Well, there's an explanation to it. I'm going to make it as simple and painless as possible and not get complicated. It all starts with the weather. Believe it or not, yes, with the weather, in reference to the amount of rain. Now, what actually causes the oceans to become salty? Well, the rivers. Of course, by rain pouring down on certain parts of the land, then of course rivers are created, and they all migrate into the oceans, and that's where the oceans get diluted with fresh water, and that's what curtails the amount of salt that the oceans have. Okay, now what causes the oceans to be salty? Simple. The soil structures and the stones. Upon the rain falling on these areas, of course causing rivers flushing, diluting into the oceans, the salt that will go into the oceans and will make the ocean salty. Now, in areas that there's a lot of rainfall, like monsoon rains, then on those areas of the world, or a lot of rivers pouring and diluting into the ocean, there you're going to have a lower salinity level. Now in areas where it doesn't rain that much, like close to deserts, then there's going to be a lot of evaporation in the oceans, and then because of that, you're going to have a higher level of salt. Now I'm going to give you for instance, in the Antarctica, which is covered by ice caps, the salinity level in those areas is found to be as low as 10 parts per million. Why? Because the ice caps, the ice diluting into the ocean and no evaporation being caused, or very little, then that maintains the salt level very, very low. So that's why you have the different types of salinity levels found in the different parts of the world. And like I mentioned before, when it comes to synthetic salts, that's why you have to be monitoring and checking and adjusting. Matter of fact, I'll tell a little story of what would happen to me way back when I used to live in Miami. In Miami, the local pet shops being close to the oceans, there's a company or a couple of companies that would actually collect seawater, natural seawater in high tide from different areas of, local coastal areas. And what would happen is I could simply tell by buying the natural seawater. When I brought it home and I would check the salt level, I would easily know if when they collected the seawater, if it had rain or not. Why? Because when I bought the natural seawater, if when I checked with the hygrometer or the refractometer, if I noticed that the salinity was like, let's say at 1.23, 1.22, but not 1.25 or 26, right there, it triggered me to think that out there in the ocean in high tide, it had rain, and upon collecting the natural seawater, the salt level was low. So, my fellow reefers, that's basically, shortly, the explanation. I hope I didn't get too technical on you guys and girls, but that basically was what I wanted to bring up today. How to adjust the salinity level when you're using synthetic salts or natural seawater, and why in the oceans of the world you have different types. And that's basically what I wanted to bring up. I do want to thank you, like I always say, for watching this video, and if you found it informative, educational, enjoyable, just hit the like button. If not, make a comment on this video, or if not, you're welcome to subscribe to my channel. And before I forget, to all of my followers, all of my subscribers, first of all, I do want to thank all of you for watching the videos and subscribing to my channel. What I want to say at the end of this video is, if just in case I do not produce another video before Christmas, I do want to wish all of you a very, very happy Christmas, a warm hug to all of you, and to all of your families. Merry Christmas, and thank you very much. Like I always say, happy reefing. Bye-bye.